Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good evening, my students. I hope you can contribute about this our class today now. So before we start our class right now, I want you to present for other students first, starting with the is there any name Ina?
Yes, sir.
Okay, next we got the name Anis.
Yes. Oh, present.
Okay, it's Fadil
Hadir, sir.
and Septian.
Yes, sir.
Okay, it was honestly really gladly everyone has joined for all this together course. Before we start with the course, we had to praying first. I'm going to lead over this praying right now, starting right now. All right, done.
Yes.
Okay, so everyone for the course right now. So does everybody knows it's a narrative text? So I was so sorry about this. Why it was called essay, because it was got the software problem. Honestly, it was to be called narrative text. So does everybody know what is narrative text, please?
To entertain the readers.
Okay, good. That is a bit costly, but still very give it a context about the narrative text. So we had to continue for the next paper. So before we got the definition of to it, we need to learn the objective of it. So after the lecture, students must be able to read the narrative text. First, we got to understand narrative text, which means we need to know how the narrative text is supposed to be work. We all know the narrative text has the mostly from the beginning to middle and at the end. And next, we got to identify its structure. We know every narrative has a structure. We got the structure from the complicated problem and a solution. And then we got to write a simple narrative text. This is where honestly you next paper test, but we will go into that on the later now on. So we move to the next. So we got the definition of the narrative text, which is called narrative text is a type of text that tells a story or a past event in order to entertain reader and give more lessons. So does everyone love to reading a text around here?
Pardon?
Does everybody love to always to read about a story of the past, like a story? I mean, you know.
Yes. Maybe when elementary school borrow the storybook at library, and maybe some of us already read about Timur Mas.
All right, good. That's very good. That is very good, Fadil. I hope you like it. Read and hope you continue your reading. All right.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
So does everybody want to know any question this before we next to the next page?
Sir,
Yes.
it is like a storytelling, could be.
Oh yes, it could be a storytelling because the narrative text is usually you cannot really want it what you really wanted to desire to story study. Whether you wanted to story about a lecture, story about you on yourself, story about your daily life, or something could be like to fiction. But most of the story could be lead into non-fiction. You have some other question, Anis?
Some of your explanation is just like recontext, like daily life. If I not misheard.
Okay, that's very good. Now we continue to the next page. So we get the social function on it. The social function for the narrative text provide with the aims to entertain the readers. Of course, you only wanted to feel them feeling joyful or feeling tears. And the next we got the shared experience. This mostly basically like you wanted to share this on person, how the story it works and how you really wanted to contribute in it. And also we got to teach moral values. Mostly this gonna end up like a legend story or fiction or kind of the non-fiction that giving you a lesson that you want to learn on this time from now on. And okay, we are next to the narrative essay, narrative text resulter. And I'm sorry, it's supposed to be called narrative text, but it got some software problem. So we got the general structure of the organization text has first one, orientation, communication, and resolution. So before we have the next page, does everyone know what is orientation?
It's the first part of the narrative text, maybe the explanation about the characters and place.
Okay.
Yeah, introduce the characters. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that's very good. What about the complication or resolution?
Complication.
The
Is
problem?
problem of the story.
Yeah. Okay, that's very nice. Okay, we have to continue next page. So we got the orientation. It's basically at the beginning of the story that introduces the character, place, and time. For example, once upon a time in a city. So this kind of story will like refer to the fiction or non-fiction. As long as we got the answer about the time, in other day, in a long time ago, in 1,000 years ago, you can say use that thing. Okay, so we now going to continue. So we got the communication, which is honestly it's the part story where a problem or conflict happens. For example, the main focus his work. So it's just basically like the middle of the paragraph story, where they like got the problem, we got the like to solving the problem, we to ending the problem for now. And for now we got the continue onto the resolution, which also like the end of the story, which is the part of story where the problem is solved. For example, the man managed to finish his work before the boss noticed him. So you mean basically resolution is always into on a good ending, right?
Yeah.
Alright, good. So we have next on this thing. So we got the language feature. So most of the language feature are grammatical element that are commonly used in narrative text. They mostly include the simple past tense, temporal conjunction, action first, and adverse of the time and place. So before we head to the next page, so does everybody know which four part of them? Can you explain it by Fatil?
I'm still confused about the action verb.
Alright, so the action verb is basically about the consequences when you like to do the character. For example, like you are doing what you stuff, you are doing work on this stuff, you are trying to manage to some of your time, you also try to helping some of the people. It's basically like the consequences, whether the consequences is good or bad. It could be both of them sometimes. Okay, does everyone still want another question, or we can head to the next page?
Sir, how about the temporal conjunction?
Temporal conjunction is a basically text that's something like it's like a combination of the words after words. It's just basically like how and where everything else was connected to the story on it. It's just basically like the adding some a word that's some like happening or playing and some of that thing. And so we head to the next page from now on. So we got the simple past tense. So it's basically a text used to talk about the events that happened in the past. For example, we got the help, you got the escape, you got the run. So I can somebody give you some bit asking. So Anis, what is the after word? What is the word after eight? Word after it? Eight. Okay, good. About the, I can make about the word after drink.
Drink. Yeah.
Okay, that's very good. That's really how the simple past. It's just basically like giving something like a new verb, but something will be another way to know it because the help, because mostly the P word is used the combination of the ed or something, the helper, swallow, killed, and some other stuff. Right? And so we got the next to the temporal conjunction. And especially in conjunction, they are what used to show the sequence of the event. For example, like a one day, and then after that, and finally, this can also used to be like a eventually, and then you can see, and then but some people adding e, a, and d, and then they're adding in for a cause and the effect onto it. So, but it's mostly used that one day, then and after that, and finally, it's very normal to using it. And now we head next to the continue. So action verb. So this is mostly like action verb that show what the characters do in the story. For example, run, pull, help, save, and escape. It's basically like a verb of working and how the story was inside on all of it. All right. So I cannot give you something. Can you actually give me some two words example of the Septian? Give me two words that something like a verb two, second form.
Okay, maybe work,
Okay, work, and next
and then play.
play. Very good. So, but you miss, but you Inas.
Child.
Child, okay, and you
And then swim.
swim. All right, good. So that's how the action verb. It's mostly like talking about the verbing words to use on this kind of narrative text. So we had let's continue. So we got the adverbs of time and place. This is mostly a time and place show when and where the story happened. It's basically like a once upon a time, or one day in the forest, at the village, a long time ago, and other thing. It's all basically like a similar thing, but just basically like in the first of the narrative text. And so we are now continue for the next lesson. So this was for example for the narrative text, and we are going to practice. But first, before we doing practice, I want you to read the story, and I give you time at least 6 minutes to do it. You ready? Okay, 1, 2, 3, now.
Is the main point.
I want you to read this around 6 minutes, start from now on.
Read the whole text.
Yes, everybody, the student must read on here.
Okay, so,
Before we are on to the question now on.
alright, so example of narrative and practice.
Yes, but I want you not saying it, we say after 6 minutes. Yes, before for the context of the story onto it.
So I make text now?
Yes. Before you finish it, let the other student finish too. So basically, all the student can continue together before we answering the question. So wait around 6 minutes, and the time is almost like 5 minutes left.
Okay. There was one who was treated cruelly by his master. One day, he couldn't take it anymore and ran to the forest to escape. There, he chanced upon a lion who couldn't walk because of the thorn in its paw. Continue, sir?
Yes, continue. You can.
Although scared, the slave mustered his courage and took out the thorn in the lion's paw. When the lion was finally free of the thorn, he ran into the forest and didn't harm the slave. Sometime later, the slave was caught by his master along with some animals in the forest. The master then ordered the slave to be thrown into the lion's den. When the slave saw the lion, he recognized it as the lion he held in the forest. The slave was able to escape, then unharmed, and he fed all the other animals.
Alright, very good. But before we continue the question, I hope all of the students understand, because I know the time is 5 minutes left, but I'm going to skip it ahead. So because we have 1 minute left. Okay. I hope everyone can understand it. So I'm going to question is who is the main character on it? Anyone want to raise a hand? All right. Yes.
Lion,
Ines?
sir.
Huh?
Lion.
The lion.
Is this?
I'm not saying settled kind, but it's just a bit of it should be like the the slave one, but it's alright.
Oh,
Okay.
I was about to answer the slave, sir.
Okay, it's very nice. I know, but the question been taken by Ina. So okay. So number two, what is the problem? What is the problem on the way? All right. So one raise your hand. All right. It's all right. All right, Anis.
It's actually different. So the problem is when a slave into the forest, he met a lion that would couldn't walk because there is a thorn in its paw.
All right.
Sir, I want to answer this with my opinion, sir.
All right.
Okay, so the problem started from the slave who couldn't take it anymore, being enslaved by his master, and then he ran into the forest, and then on the forest he met a lion who couldn't walk because something catch on its paws. So I think that's the main problem.
Okay, that's very good because the question that I made was kind of a bit confusing because that's the main point because narrative was easy, but that like a bit critical thinking was very crucial for the next slide. Okay, that's very good. Something. Yeah? Okay, next for the question number 3. How is the problem solved?
When the slave saw the lion, sir. When the slave saw the lion, and
Yes.
he tried to help
Yes.
the lion to take out the thorn,
Yes.
and the slave was able to escape
Okay.
unharmed.
Okay, that's very good. So we can next to the slide, and this is gonna be the. Now this is your activity right now. Start. I want you to prepare your papers from now on, and I give you time around about a time about 7 minutes. All right, 7 minutes, everybody. So writing everything closely. Write a short narrative text story, 3 up to 4 paragraph with the orientation, communication, and resolution. It's alright. What kind of theme what you really want to make it? So I'll give you from the 9 minutes start from now on. Ready for your presentation? I know the time was supposed to be 9 minutes, but I could be skip it about the time is less in the 20 seconds from now on. So I hope you are ready.
Okay.
Alright, time's up. I hope all of you are ready to represent your native text from now on. So I'm going to give a random who is going to present first. Anis, are you going? Still not ready yet?
Not ready, sir.
How about you, Fadil?
That's it.
Me, sir.
Alright, you can go to presentation. Inas.
My narrative text, the title is Building a Culture of Continuous Professional Development.
Yes, continue development. Alright.
At the orientation part is at the beginning of a new academic year, a school realized the change in the curriculum and the evolving needs of pupils required a teacher to continuously develop their professional skill. As a result, the teacher took part in a continuing professional development program designed not as a one-time training, but as an ongoing process at the worst closely connected at the school context and classroom realities. And the complication during the programs, the teacher faced a different professional challenge. Each teacher has
Oh. We have some.
Ulang nggak sih?
No, it's alright. It's continue. It's alright. Alright. Okay, it's alright. So Anis going on. Yes, continue going on.
Sorry, Pak.
Okay, the story is just from Mas. So, long ago in a small village, an old widow lived alone and wished for a child. One day, a giant named Buto Ijo gave her a magical cucumber seed and promised she would have a child, but he demanded the child once she grew up. From the cucumber later came a baby girl, whom the widow named Timunmas.
Okay.
Years passed and Timunmas grew into a kind and brave girl. When Butaijo returned to claim her, the widow was terrified. She gave Timunmas several magical items to protect herself, and Timunmas ran as the giant chased her through fields and forests. One by one, Timunmas threw the magical items behind her and turning them into obstacles that slowed the giant. And finally, Buto Ijo fell into deep mud and could not escape. And then finally, Timunmas returned home safely and she and the widow lived happily in peace.
Okay, that's very good. I'll give you applause for that thing. Okay, now next to the presenter, I know we got so not too much time left, so because I only have two students for now on. So about you, Septian, would you like to present?
Yes, sir.
Alright, so because we only have one left student around.
Okay, good evening everyone. I would like to tell you a story, a very wonderful story. In a quiet forest lived a small turtle named Lumo, who was afraid of the rain. while other animals danced when clouds gathered. Lumo hid beneath leaves, worried the rain would slow him down, and then one day a fire broke out the edge of the forest. The animal panicked. Rain finally poured from the sky, and Lumo realized it wasn't an enemy. It was help. Slowly but bravely, he guided the younger animals toward the wet riverbank where the fire couldn't reach. When the rain stopped, the forest was safe again. From that day on, Lumo no longer feared the rain. He understood that even the things that scare us can save us. Thank you.
Oh, that sounds very good. Okay, so now we got the last question is Fadil. I mean, if you're ready. How about you?
Yeah.
Ready?
Give me a second minute, sir.
Alright, it's alright.
Me first, sir?
Okay, I know you make a mistake, but let's continue. It's alright. You can continue the story if you are not.
So my story is The Wise Teacher and the Growing School. Long ago, in a small village surrounded by a green field, there stood a modest school where the children come every morning to learn. The school was led by a wise teacher named Mr. Arman,
Okay.
who believed that learning should never stop, not only for pupils, but also for teachers themselves. One year, new lesson and unfamiliar teaching methods were introduced to the village. Many teachers felt confused and worried because Mr. Arman
Yes.
old ways no longer worked well. Classes became less lively and some people struggled to understand the lesson. The teacher feared that the school would lose the trust of the villagers. So, seeing this problem, Mr. Arman got the teacher and encouraged them to learn together. They share experience, reflection on their teachings, and tried new methods step by step. Slowly, the teachers become more confident and their reason improved. People began to enjoy learners and show the better programs.
Okay, that's very good. I will give it applause. I know this is going to be a bit very last second, but we need to save the time, so we can continue to the conclusion about the story, okay? So I know it's very sad, but I hope we can continue to save it. So I hope to thank you for participating about this narrative text. So in my evaluation for all of this, narrative text is a prescript text that's only giving you a version of the telling story about the past, about the legend, or even some of the future. But it could be my conclusion. Story narrative text is always present into the past of the story that been saying from other people, and it was going to be used for a daily telling story for the student and people who say very excited of the story. So I hope we have concluded this narrative text and we have continued for our next lesson. All right. And before we end this thing, I hope we say the last thing. We say Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Alright, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.